Righty ho gang, we are here at the Clava Cairns. I have my cosy hat on because it keeps snowing. Let's see if the gate is unlocked. It's unlocked. Ooh, aren't we lucky? Ready to switch the camera around? Yeah! And it won't let me. Thanks, phone. So I guess I'm just gonna have to do it like this. Yeah, Clava Cairns. So let's go to the big burial mound, where I believe there was bodies at some point. Obviously not now, that would be rather... I mean, the hell, it's open like these bodies just to the public. Just poke them, it's fine. Just touch bodies. So there's one big mound and various standing stones. I don't know how well you can see. I'll try and take a second video, one that's less shit. But we're on our way. Go. On our way. Right, let me show you where the big mad stone that everybody poses with is. Dun, 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 dun. Oh shit, something just scared the pigeons. Possibly a fox. Now, here is a massive stone. Not as big as Swinner's stone, but this big slab here is the one you will find tourists coming and caressing and trying to seance Jamie, who's a guy that like lives in Dumfries. So like, you know, imagine touching a stone, you're just like, whatever the fuck your name was in real life, and he's just like sucked out of his living room to the other end of this stone in front of a cairn in his boxes, confused as fuck. But yeah, apparently some people think James is actually a real person and seem to forget that he's like an actor. Right. Okay, so if any didn't believe me about the snow, I don't know if I can get my phone to look at it. There's still ice all over the floor. Yeah! Now let's go into the cairn, which has flooded a little bit, but it's fine, I've got my good boots on. Bit flooded. But look! We're in the cairn! Cairn. It's kind of, that's it, it's like keyhole shaped. So if I find the thing with the diagram on for you, it might be over there. You're not supposed to climb on it. I have climbed on it in the past because I don't have any self-control, but nobody was here to see me or catch me or report me, so that was fine. I don't know what the statute of limitations for climbing on a stone is, but ho-hum, on we go. Right. I mean, I can read it out to you. Northeast cairn. Step inside this cairn and follow its now roofless passage to the central burial chamber. In 1882, the Clava Cairns were among the first ancient monuments in the UK to be protected by law. This marked the start of the state's role in safeguarding the nation's heritage. Yeah! The site was taken into state care in 1925 before being partially restored in 1930 to 1931. Debris was removed from the chambers and passageways, and fallen boulders that had held the mounds and cobbles together were reinstated, making the monuments more accessible to visitors. Solar power. On the shortest day of the year, sunlight streams up the passageway to illuminate the chamber. Both Clava's large cairns are aligned to the midwinter sunset. For the Bronze Age farmer, this was a forbidding time of year, with short days, long nights, cold weather and dead crops. Just like now. In memoriam. The original burials have long since decayed away, but the well-built cairns remain their memorials. Look at how the highest stone in the chamber walls, which you can't see because I'm bad at cameras, overhang those. The missing domed roofs would have been formed over such overlapping slabs. Isn't that nice? Yeah, the rest of the cairns, there's one there, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's one like there behind the trees. Like, see that one? That one's a second one that's not like that one. There's two. Well, there's three on the whole bit. Right. I'm on my way. In the best woolly hat imaginable. Da-da. A couple of standing stones. Can you see them? Yeah. Actually, tell a lie, it was this one that I climbed on. Because the entrance to this one's closed. Because the entrance is still like... I didn't turn my phone. Like that bit. Which is still buried. So like this is like the where the top would be. And if I lift my phone you might be able to see. Yeah, see the inside? Yeah, so it's this one I climbed on. Wasn't caught. It's fine. Didn't break anything. Here's the other like path bit that goes into it. Oh shit, that bit's all boggy. Fuck that. What does this sign say? Ring cairn. This open circular enclosure with no apparent way in was possibly built as a temple. There we go. The ring cairn may once have had an entrance, but none has been identified. Well, traces of burning were found inside, perhaps the ritual linked to the burial cairns. But what if like it was like that thing, you know, where they just buried people in there like alive? Fire played an important role at Clava. I mean, for the time period, I feel like fire played like an important role overall. Just saying, just a little bit less dead. However, archaeologists do not think the ring cairn was built for cremations, a funerary practice not known in this part of Scotland where the first bodies were buried here. Probably because it's cold and wet. Also, waste of wood. You know, like everything's cold and wet and you got to dry the wood out first. Bit of a waste of wood to like cremate. Meh, don't care about the rest of that. The curb cairn. So here's the little teeny cairn. And if you can look how small it is. Little teeny cairn. It's full of quartz apparently. Clava was revered for millennia. For about 1,000 years after the cairns were built, newcomers reused them and their burials. This included one of the curb cairns. Though little trace of it survives, most recently in about 500 to 600 AD, a Pictish cremation burial was made close to the ring cairn. Which is this little thing. I say little, but it's little in comparison to the rest of the cairns, you know? Right, go for this way. There's the other big cairn. That is a pheasant. Da-da. I'm on my way. Nearly there. A few more massive standing stones. And the big cairn. If the phone would... Yeah, maybe. Cairn. My phone does not like the light of this woods. So there's standing stones all around it. Oh, it's starting to snow a little bit again. Da-da-da-da. Another standing stone. Also, there's a road built that kind of cuts through it. So, I don't know if I can show you. So there's part of the stone, if it'll focus, yeah. So there's part of the stone there, and the other part is like across the road, and there's other parts of it in the field over there. Because, you know, the best place to put a road is like right through a sacred site, you know. What the fuck? Okay, apparently this cairn had been painted. Weathering has turned Clava stones from freshly hewn reds, pinks and whites to grey. Analysis of each slab has revealed how important colour was to the cairn builders. They chose red and pink for the stones that faced midwinter sunset on all 3 large cairns. Oh, so all of them were painted. On the opposite side, facing the midsummer sunrise, they preferred paler shades. Pastels. So I'm going to have to just clear the leaves off of this. Fragments of Neolithic flint found here hint at an older settlement predating the tombs. Burnt bones discovered in 2 pots within the chamber of 1828 probably date from the later use of Clava 1,000 years after the cairns were built. Ta-da! Botanic stones. There's the one that's across the road. This might be easy to show you the keyhole shape. They're like a path, and then it's really weird trying to do this in opposite. But yeah, they're keyhole shaped, the little paths that go in them. Dun, 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 dun. Oh look, it'll show you more ice because it keeps snowing. So, boogie. Yeah, here's the cairns, and they would have had like a slabbed dome-ish roof, but like of big stones. So like these big, massive flat ones, but like across. Kind of like if you were a little kid trying to like draw a house, and like you were making it out of like sticks or something. Yeah, and now I will just do a quick record. I can see the pheasant. Holy shit. I'll just do a quick record with my front facing camera so you can see it better without me gabbling on. Bye!